comeback. The Lakers did try, though. In the third quarter, they outscored the Thunder 30-26. The deficit was too large. Oklahoma's defense held firm in the fourth, and the Lakers finished 28 points, while closing out with precision and poise. Their largest lead of 37 points told the story. They were in complete control. Special mention to the supporting cast for Oklahoma City. Their role players had timely shots, contributed on the glass, and made sure the ball moved efficiently. The Lakers, meanwhile, were hampered by inconsistency from their supporting cast and just could not find answers from Garnett's own chambers. So the takeaway tonight, the Thunder are looking every bit like the championship team that they are. High efficiency, strong defense, and a superstar playing at an elite level. The Lakers, meanwhile, have some work to do if they want to be competitive against top-tier teams. Again, welcome to the Ryder Report. This is our Temecula Studios. I am Ryder Bullock, and we're going to stick with basketball and the New York Knicks. And what a rough night at Madison Square Garden. The Knicks, who had been absolutely rolling, unbeaten at home, 5 straight wins, they flatlined tonight against the Orlando Magic, 124-107 the final. And that score, frankly, it could have been worse. Now let's start with the obvious. Franz Wagner, this kid can flat out play. 28 points, 9 rebounds, smooth as silk. He took that Garden crowd out of it early, hit big shots, played with confidence, and when Paolo Banchero went down, strained groin, out the second half on his birthday, by the way, Wagner just took control. He was the best player on the floor, and that's saying something when Jalen Brunson scores 31. Brunson was terrific again. He's the one guy you can't question on this team. He played hard. He plays smart. He's steady, but then disaster late. Under 2 minutes left, he goes up on a drive, comes down awkwardly, and turns the right ankle. Left the building in a walking boot and on crutches. If that's serious, the Knicks are in trouble. Because let's be honest, this team goes as Brunson goes. Julius Randle's been inconsistent. Karl Anthony Towns. Listen, 15 points, 12 rebounds. That's fine when Brunson's carrying the load. But somebody else has to help him. And tonight, nobody did that. The Knicks shot 35% in the first half. 35. 1 of 10 from 3 in the second quarter. You're not beating anybody in the NBA playing like that. I don't care if it's the Magic, the Hornets, the 96 Bulls. Meanwhile, give Orlando credit. This is a young, hungry team. You look at Desmond Bane, 22 points, 8 assists. He's fit into that lineup beautifully. Anthony Blake, the rookie, steps up, gives you 17 on 7 for 11 shooting. That's poise. That's maturity beyond his years. And defensively, they were excellent. This is a team that's ranked middle of the pack. Defensively coming in, 14th in the league. And they made the Knicks look like they were shooting at a thimble. The Magic held them to 30% from 3. They closed out shooters. They challenged everything at the rim. They didn't give the Knicks any rhythm. And when the Garden started to stir, it's 191 after Brunson hits a jumper. 6 minutes left. Crowd comes alive. Jalen Suggs, what's he do? Well, he walks right into a 3, quiets the whole place. Ball game. That's what good teams do. Now, here's the question. Is this a blip or a warning sign? Because the Knicks have been living off their offense, averaging over 130 points a game in that win streak. It was all shot making, all tempo, and all Brunson. But when the shots don't fall, what's your identity? You can't run and gun every night in this league. You got to defend. You got to rebound. You got to grind out ugly wins. And frankly, this was ugly. And they got out-toughed by a young Orlando team that's not supposed to be the tougher team. Now, they've got Miami coming in Friday night. That's not what you want after a game like this. Miami plays physical. They'll push you around. And if Brunson's not right, forget it. That's a loss waiting to happen. I'll tell you something else. Karl Anthony Towns, 10 double-doubles, great. He's putting up numbers. But does he impact winning? Tonight he didn't. You can't be 7 feet tall, grab 12 rebounds, and let Franz Wagner go wherever he wants on the floor. And I'll say this about Mike Brown, who had no further update after the game. He's going to lose sleep over that defensive effort. You know he is. But this is the NBA. One night you look unbeatable. The next you look lost. It's about consistency, and right now the Knicks are missing it. So the bottom line here, Orlando's the real deal. Young, deep, athletic, tough. The Knicks still a good team, still a playoff team. But if Brunson misses any time, they'll need to find another way to win. Let's shift gears to Los Angeles, where there's finally some good news if you're a Laker fan, and it's a big one. LeBron James took the floor Wednesday, not at Crypto.com Arena, not in Oklahoma City, but with the South Bay Lakers, the team's G League affiliate down in El Segundo. Now, that might not sound like much to you, but make no mistake, this is a major step in his comeback from sciatica. Remember, he hasn't played a minute this season. 23 years in the league, the all-time scoring leader, and still dealing with that nerve issue down his right side. This has kept him out, slowed his movement. And frankly, at 40 years old, those things don't heal like they used to. But here's what's encouraging. J.J. Redick said LeBron participated in warm-ups, some up-and-down transition drills, and about a dozen live 5-on-5 possessions. That's not light work. That's testing the back, the legs, the balance. And it tells me they're getting closer to clearing him for full-speed game action. Redick said after that, LeBron looked good. Simple as that. Didn't oversell it. Didn't hedge it. He looked good. And that's the first time we've heard that in months. Now, let's put this in perspective. The Lakers right now, I know they lost today, but they've been playing good up to this point. They're 8-4, okay? 5-2 on the road, okay? So they're playing good ball without LeBron. And that's the part that shocked a lot of people. You've got Luka Doncic anchoring the paint, Austin Reeves growing into his role, in that bench of Gabe Vincent and Rui Hachimura. They've been solid. So they're surviving without the king. But if you watch those games closely, there's something missing. And that's the control, the tempo, the presence that LeBron brings. He just organizes the floor in a way nobody else can. And look, I get it. We all talk about Father Time. We've been saying it for years with this guy. But you watch him even last year, 25 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists per night, and you realize he's still elite when healthy. The problem is staying healthy. And this sciatica thing, this is not an ankle sprain. It's a nerve condition. It can flare up at any time. So the Lakers are going to take this slow, and they should. Now, what's impressive to me is how smartly they're managing it. You don't throw him into a high-tempo NBA game off 2 months' rest. You let him run through 12 to 15 possessions in a controlled G League setting. Test the back. Test the reaction. Test how he recovers the next morning. This isn't about minutes. It's about motion. And I'll tell you something else. Redick deserves credit here. He's handling LeBron's situation with a veteran's understanding. He's not rushing it. He's building chemistry with this group, showing he's not afraid to trust his bench early in the year. Because let's face it, the Lakers are playing good ball. Now, when LeBron comes back, it's going to change the dynamic a little bit. Ball movement's going to slow down a little bit. Luka's going to get more off-ball touches. Reeves will take fewer shots, but that's fine. Because when LeBron's on the court, your offense has purpose. Every possession matters more. The real story is that the Lakers have bought time, something they didn't have last season. They're not 5-7, clawing to stay afloat. They're 8-4. They have confidence. They're balanced, and they can afford to ease LeBron back in that. Okay, and that's luxury. Okay, the luxury of a good start is what is keeping this Laker team afloat right now. Because you zoom out for a second, the Western Conference is loaded. Okay, we've seen that. OKC, who they lost tonight to, is still the team to beat. San Antonio looks revitalized, right? They just won, they lost today against the Warriors, but they're 8-3. Right? Victor Wembanyama's killing it, had 31 points tonight. The Suns are 7-5. They get their win over the Mavericks. And then, of course, you got the Nuggets at 9-2 with Joker scoring 55 tonight against the Clippers. don't forget the Warriors who beat the Spurs. Steph Curry back today. He scored 46. Mentioned the Rockets at 7-3 with Thompson and Durant. So the West is loaded. We know that. And the Lakers can't afford a slow re-entry with LeBron, but they also can't afford to lose him again in January because they rushed it. So here's the deal. This practice was the first real sign that he's close. My guess, we're 2, maybe 3 games away from seeing him suit up. Maybe back in LA next week. And when he does, expect the Lakers to take off, because if this team is winning without him, what happens when you drop one of the greatest playmakers back into the mix? So LeBron's return is no longer hypothetical. It's real, it's happening, and it's coming soon. The Lakers are in a great position. Redick's earning some trust, and LeBron, he's writing yet another chapter in one of the longest, most remarkable careers we've ever seen. From the NBA to a courtroom in Miami, Antonio Brown, once one of the best receivers in football, now standing trial for attempted second-degree murder in Miami. He's not behind bars, not yet. The judge granted him house arrest with a GPS ankle monitor. Bail set at $25,000. He's got to stay at home, check in, and wait for his trial. Brown was extradited from Dubai back to the U.S. this week, and I was trying to think. He was a warrant went back for him. An arrest warrant was issued. I'll get my words straight in a minute. You just bear with me. An arrest warrant was issued in Miami for Brown back in May. Okay, he then fled the United States and went to Dubai. He's been in Dubai since May up until last week, when he was arrested and brought back to the United States in New Jersey, later flown to Miami. So you think about that for a minute. The guy literally fled the country after the warrant was issued. Prosecutors wanted him held without bail, and frankly, I don't blame him. When someone takes off to another continent, that tells you all you need to know about whether he's a flight risk. His lawyer, Mark Egelharsh, told the court, quote, "He's not a risk anymore. He doesn't have a passport." Okay, fine. That's not what most people would call reassuring. Now, according to the police report, and this comes straight from the Miami Herald and NBC News, there was a fight outside an amateur boxing event in the Little Haiti neighborhood. Surveillance video shows Brown punching a man, taking a security guard's firearm, and approaching the same guy. Then cell phone footage picks up 2 gunshots. Fortunately, no one was seriously hurt. The victim, though, says he might have been grazed. But here's the reality. Brown's looking at up to 15 years in prison if convicted. And here's where the story really hits you. Luis Ortiz, which we'll get to him at the end of the show. He's the pitcher from the Cleveland Guardians who was just released on $500,000 bail for gambling charges. Antonio Brown, $25,000. And he literally fled the country. That's a head-scratcher to me. Now, Brown's attorney is saying it was self-defense, that Brown was attacked and had to protect himself. Okay, we'll see where the evidence takes us. But here's the thing. When there's video of you grabbing someone else's gun and shots are being fired, you're in deep water. And let's not forget who Antonio Brown was. 12 seasons in the league, 7 Pro Bowls, 4 times an All-Pro. He had the kind of quickness, route running, and body control that put him on a Hall of Fame pace. And then the meltdown. The sideline blow-ups in Pittsburgh, the bizarre saga in Oakland, the short run in New England, and finally Tampa Bay, where he literally walked off the field mid-game, jersey off, waving to the crowd. He had Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback ever, going to bat for him, and still he couldn't hold it together. You look at that resume and you realize this wasn't a fall. This was a free fall. There's a pattern here. Every time someone tried to help him, Brown fought back. Coaches, teammates, agents, even the league, and now he's fighting the law. The one opponent you don't get to stiff arm or sidestep. He's been given every chance in the world. And look, I'm not rooting against him. I hope he walks and is free and we can put this to rest. But if you keep throwing away lifelines, at some point you hit the bottom of the ocean. This isn't about whether Antonio Brown can still play. It's about whether he can grow up. Because if he can't, a Florida courtroom is going to make that decision for him. So here's where we are. Antonio Brown, one of the best receivers in football, now sitting at home on house arrest, wearing an ankle monitor, facing 15 years in prison. He's saying it's self-defense. The prosecutor's saying it's attempted murder. The video is going to be the judge of that. And for Antonio Brown, a man who's made headlines for all the wrong reasons the last 5 years, this might be the final chapter, because once upon a time, business was booming. Now, business is closed. And once we have a trial date, we will, of course, bring that to you, and we will cover this trial gavel to gavel as only we can. Now to a story that I really don't want to do, but we kind of have to. Pat McAfee interviewed President Donald Trump on Veterans Day yesterday, and it got people talking today. McAfee defended the decision on his show, saying it's the President of the United States, it's Veterans Day, he's the Commander-in-Chief. Obviously, if we have the opportunity to talk to him, we're going to. And you know what? He's right about that. If the sitting president calls your show, sports, politics, doesn't matter, you take the interview. That's just reality. Now, McAfee also reached out to former President Obama, who couldn't make it. And here's the kicker. Just a year ago, McAfee said his audience didn't want politics at all. He's built a brand on sports and humor, so this was a shift. But the interview itself, not hostile. Trump is a sports knowledge guru. He can talk golf, boxing. In this interview specifically, they talked about college athletics, NIL money, and the loss of Olympic-style programs, and sprinkled in a little politics. It was casual, fun, relevant to his audience. Now, before we go too far down the McAfee rabbit hole, I want to highlight something closer to home. You know, we had a show Friday night that was a little off for what we do. You know, yeah, it was the majority of it was sports, but we were Friday night in Laverne, California, about an hour up the road, and highlighting the Southwest Men's Conference. And Brett Joslin came on Friday night. He asked if he could come on to talk about his life, and I said, sure, you want to come on? Let's go. And we talked about his life and talked about the conference, military guy, chaplain, and all of that. And here's the key where I'm going with that. That was different for us, right? That wasn't Albert Lanier coming on here to talk football. You know, this was a different look for us, right? And because everybody's welcome. And that's the point here. Community events like this, Veterans Connect and men's coming together. That's what Veterans Day is about. That's what the men's conference was about. It's not about headlines or ratings. It's about people. It's about service. It's about support. So in a way, you've got two sides on the same coin. You've got a national media event with the president, big ratings, big talk. And when you've got local men's gatherings coming together for fellowship, helping one another, both deserve recognition, just in very different ways. Now back to McAfee for a minute. He's taken a risk here, no doubt. We took that risk, no doubt. Bringing politics into sports, bringing religion into sports, those can divide your audiences. But it's his show, it's my show, it's his call, it's my call. And for his brand, my brand, it's headlines, it's whatever. And honestly, it's interesting. Okay? He's showing that sports media can still be entertaining while touching on national conversations, just like Bob Costas did all those years ago. So bottom line here, Pat McAfee can do what he wants. The president can sit down and talk sports, politics. Local veterans like Brett Joslin are still out there building real-life connections, and if you want to come on this show, you're welcome too. There's a balance we need to remember, especially on Veterans Day. Let's shift gears down to the NFL. New York Football Giants back in the news. And this one's a little bit of a shakeup. Jameis Winston is officially the Giants' starting quarterback for Sunday's game against the Green Bay Packers. That's right, the veteran Heisman winner is back under center after his first full practice Wednesday, and he couldn't hide the excitement. He walked off the field with a big smile and said, "We finally made it. We finally made it." Now, this isn't just a story about a quarterback taking snaps. This is about the Giants' season, their quarterback carousel. Remember, we started the season with Russell Wilson, okay? And I seen it week one. I said he will not be the starting quarterback come October. I believe I said Halloween, but I think he didn't make it till October, to October rather. And then we had Jackson Dart come in. And Jackson Dart looks good. He was doing things. They were winning, but he kept taking hits. And now he's in concussion protocol, okay? And then Brian Dable gets fired on a Monday. He's gone. So we've got a team in a new direction under interim coach Mike Kafka, 38 years old, and now has the first big decision of his tenure. And he went with Winston over Wilson. And that says something. It's not just about experience. It's about leadership, production, and knowing the team inside and out. Kafka praised Winston, calling him a great leader and someone who understands the direction we're going moving forward. That's exactly what the Giants need, some stability and the most important position on the field. Winston hasn't had significant game action in 11 months, but he's a pro. He's confident. He even sang a few bars from Hamilton to show his joy about being in the greatest city in the world. That's the kind of energy Kafka wants leading this locker room. Russell Wilson, he's 36, but turned 37, and he's handling this like a professional. Said he wants to be a great teammate on the field, on the sideline, wherever the team needs him. And that's exactly what the Giants need right now. Professionalism, leadership, as they try to salvage a rough season. So let's talk context here. Jackson Dart, the rookie quarterback, is in concussion protocol after a hard hit against the Bears. That cleared the way for Winston, but it's not like he's the long-term answer here. He's the bridge. Signed a 2-year deal last offseason. Winston is expected to be Dart's backup in 2026, but for now, he's the guy, and he's ready. And Kafka is doing something smart here, promoting stability without panicking. He moved Tim Kelly up to offensive coordinator, but is still calling the plays himself. The focus is on the players, not the resume. And the goal here is to keep Dart healthy down the stretch, give Winston a chance to succeed, and build a team culture under Kafka's leadership. And let's be honest, Winston's excitement is contagious. The guy's been through it all. Heisman Trophy winner, #1 pick, 7 games last season with Cleveland, now stepping into a messy Giants situation and embracing it. His attitude? The shock was off. The rust is off. When you get to play, nothing else matters. That's exactly what this locker room needs right now. So Sunday, the Giants host the Packers, and Winston gets his shot. It's not just about wins or losses. It's about leadership. It's about setting the tone for the rest of the season and giving the fans someone to rally behind. Kafka's audition as a head coach continues. Winston gets to showcase his veteran savviness, and the Giants get some stability at quarterback. So the Giants are still in trouble, make no mistake about that, but this makes sense, and it's exciting in a lost season. You have a veteran quarterback ready to lead, a young coach trying to make a name for himself, and a rookie quarterback in the background recovering. That's the story you want to follow, even if the record isn't pretty. That's what's going on in New York. Let's take you around the MAC college football scoreboard. Yesterday, Kent State defeated Akron 42-35. Western Michigan got it done against Ohio 17-13 thanks to Lowry. He went 9-14 for 126 yards. Today, Buffalo taking on Central Michigan, and it was Central Michigan getting it done 38-19 thanks to Labasse. 18 of 24, 247 yards, 2 touchdowns. Northern Illinois knocked off Massachusetts 45-3, and Toledo defeated Miami of Ohio 24-3. That's what's trending in sports. Here is tonight's final thought. You know, every so often, sports throws us a story that's less about athletic achievement and more about human frailty. Today, it's Cleveland Guardians pitchers Luis Ortiz and Emmanuel Clase, two young men whose lives and careers now hang in the balance of a federal courtroom. Ortiz, just 26, once a starting pitcher with promise, pleaded not guilty to charges that he took bribes to help gamblers win bets on pitches he threw. His teammate Clase, a three-time All-Star and one of the game's premier closers, is facing similar allegations. Prosecutors say the two men took thousands of dollars from bettors in the Dominican Republic, rigging games in exchange for playoffs, totaling nearly $500,000. Now let's be clear. Ortiz and Clase have been on paid leave since July. They've not pitched a while this investigation's unfolded. And both maintain, though they're lawyers, and they are innocent. Okay? But their optics, as you might imagine, are troubling. Baseball, more than sports, prides itself on the sanctity of the game, on the idea that when a pitcher throws, the batter, the manager, the fans, everyone sees an honest contest. And here's the thing about trust in sports. It's fragile. Once it's broken, it's very hard to repair. Major League Baseball has responded by limiting bets on individual pitches, trying to prevent what prosecutors describe as unusually high betting activity tied directly to these two players. But can rules alone protect the integrity of a game if the people entrusted to play it fairly choose otherwise? That's the question the league, the fans, and frankly society now wrestles with. This isn't an isolated story. Across professional sports, the shadow of gambling, bribery, and outside influence has been growing. Just last month, we saw a high-profile sweep in the NBA affecting coaches and players, exposing the vulnerability of sports to schemes and corruption. Baseball, basketball, football, it doesn't matter the sport. The lesson is the same. When greed and gamesmanship mix, the results can be devastating. Ortiz and Clase, both sons of the Dominican Republic, are talented athletes. They have their careers, their families, and their futures in front of them. But today, and likely for months to come, those futures are uncertain. As fans, as commentators, as Americans who love sports, we're left to watch the proceedings unfold, hoping for truth, clarity, and accountability. In the end, it's not just about a pitch, or a save, or a contract. It's about integrity, the game's integrity. And in that, the responsibility falls on the players, on the league, and on all of us who care about sports. Because without trust, without honesty, what are we really watching? That'll do it for me on this Wednesday night. Till next time, Ryder Report reporting. Thank you for your time, and thank you for letting me